one might say. Got sliding windows, probably in from France. It's a left-hand drive. Diane, there was Citroen Diane 6 there. And other cars here. Don't see one for a very long time, then all of a sudden you see about 3 or 4 of them. There we are. Another Citroen Diane. Some car what my auntie had, I believe it was the passenger mounted windscreen washers. Of course, if you put your foot on the floor in the passenger seat, the water flew up. But of course, they hadn't changed it round, being a French car, for the British market. Got the Willis Jeep here, of course, using them more. Got a Singer here, slightly more up to date with the Honda. Was it the S2000? Imports here in the Porsche, Volvo, Peugeot, and another old Citroen BX. Of course, it's a matter of opinion which ones are classics. Here at Bishop's Cleeve, Morris 1000 van here. There, that's one pure proper classic there. The Morris 1000 van, Butchers. Bishop's Cleeve local van here, well, certainly local now. And another one next door here, Badham Pharmacy, local chemist there. And alongside we have the Bedford HA, I do believe. Bedford here. Actually, no, this is the Vauxhall, but it's certainly very similar to the Bedford. It's all the same company at one time. The Vauxhall, of course, part of General Motors. That's all changed over the years. Lovely condition there. And we have a Mini 30. Mini 30. There we are.
I wonder what the subframe's like.
Got the MGPA here. Bit of camaraderie here, and we have the old Citroen 2CV Dolly, another Citroen 2CV Dolly. Quite a few Citroens here today, got a lot of influence from France here. Just wonder how many British cars are in France. There we are. Next door we have the Chev as well here. And there we are. Massive, as you would expect. And the Ford Mustang next door, and the trusty Reliant Robin here. There we are, the Reliant Robin. Of course, you can drive it on motorcycle insurance. Looks like it's 45 years old. There we are, as honest as the day's long. There we are. V red around about 1980. The Reliant Robin. Ford Cortina 1600E there, a sports Cortina. The Triumph TR7 here, there we are, the Triumph TR7, this is the 2-litre sports here. And next door we have the Triumph Stag. There are the convertible here, the Triumph Stag. Here at Bishop's Cleeve. Another array of Citroens here, and the 2CV. Citroen Diane there. Uniquely French, of course, the van, 1983. Citroen AC Diane, the van version, there we are. Imported in 2001, present owner since 2013. Engine change in 2018. 602cc, there we are, 600cc now. Back to the British, got the Triumph Herald Vitesse here, there we are, the Triumph Herald. We do have another citron alongside here. But if you're around, you don't see any, then you see loads of them. The AMI there, it's the AMI. I thought it was the AMI. It's 1969. John Soby. We need 2 left in Britain, apparently. Probably loads in France, shall we say. Of course, the French always buy French cars. One thing we could learn from, perhaps we would have had a thriving motor industry left from the Roots Group and Leyland over the years, and perhaps a few others. Thinking about all the amalgamations and mergers and acquisitions over the years. And more. 2 CVs. Here in Bishop's Cleeve. Another 2 CV. Looks like that one's called Rupert. French influences here. As with so many things, not just being controlled by Europe, of course, over the years. Everything else that comes from France as well. Including the wine. Bishop's Cleeve here. Got a few commercials here today at Bishop's Cleeve. They've got the ERF here. Genuine British made, of course. Recovery lorry. Very popular, of course. As long as I've got the import in the Volvo. Lot of changes, of course, in the 1970s. And alongside, we have another more modern vehicle in the Scania. Now, these were the benchmark. Scania, of course, well, probably the top name in commercial heavy transport in terms of lorries, tractor units as they called. These are tractor units, of course, not the trailer on the back. Certainly the one to have. Motorbike here.
You're going backwards as well. Yeah, you had a sidecar, so you actually have reverse.
Is it Chinese?
It is Chinese, but
good lord, yeah.
That's not the reason why the back wheel goes backwards.
No.
That's because it's yes.
Now, even moving on here, we've got a few tractors here amongst the motorbikes. The 47610. Revolutionary tractor there, of course. And the David Brown 1200. A bit of camaraderie here. And the Massey Ferguson, there we are. The big innovator, the Massey Ferguson, of course. With 3-point linkage, this is the 35, exceptionally popular after the war. The 35. And I can tell you, my uncle had one on a small holding. Great for a small holding. Massey Ferguson. Bishop's Cleeve Street Fair here. You've seen the Morris dancing, 2 classic cars about, other stands and stalls here. Village of Bishop's Cleeve, not far from Cheltenham. Gloucestershire and Warwickshire Railway Trust here, there we are, the steam railway between Cheltenham Racecourse and now Broadway. Steam experience. Morris dancers here. Bishop's Cleeve. England glory. The pub in Gloucester as well. Named after the matches. Bishop's Cleeve Street Fair here. 2025. Good turnout here. In Bishop's Cleeve, near Cheltenham. Bit blowy here, sorry about the wind, but we'll stop the spirit here. dancing with the Morris dancers here. This is St Michael's Church here, all open. Tea and a nice bit of cake. I've got the Victoria's bunch here, £3.